In the 21st century, there is absolutely a crisis of meaning right now for men. That's not to say that every single man is searching for this deep meaning to live for. You got a whole ton of guys that are waking up with plenty of meaning right in front of their faces. That's family right there. That's the wifey. That's his kids. Maybe this is his own company or his own business, or he's living for other people. He's in service to something outside of himself, that it is not self serving, it is for the well being of others. No, this is specifically for men who are single, men who don't really have anybody close around them on a daily basis, especially for the younger guys. Because on the younger side, how about millennials and down? How about we'll do men in their 30s all the way down to 18? On the younger side of life, when a man has not yet established a family for himself, then this is the period of a man's life where he is most likely going to be spending every single day, by himself. Unless you have a bunch of friends. And even if you do, they'd have to be pretty close friends that you'd be seeing them all the time. I know many guys who are not in that kind of situation. School is over, uni is over, they are out and about in the real world with a job now, holding down a stable income to pay for everything. However, they're doing that 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, clocking in, clocking out, clocking in, clocking out. And they're left with what little time their lives afford them. And it's right there. It's in that pocket that I'm talking about, bro. Searching for, needing the meaning of your life. The why. Why do it? Why continue? Why wake up for tomorrow? This is the reason for you to live as brilliantly as possible. That's the kind of meaning that I'm getting at, that you and I are headed towards tonight. And I want to talk about this in two layers. Uh, Of course, it's very personal for me because I can only tell you about the meaning for a modern man in the way that I personally lived it. So, what you should be prioritizing, what needs to come first for you is God, very specifically, the Christian God. Yes, this is Jesus Christ. This is getting your hands on a Bible, and this is developing a personal relationship with the Almighty. There is nothing wrong with going to pastors and preachers and biblical men and women to learn from them, to seek guidance and insight. But I have to say, in my humble opinion, all of this, all of the information that you could get about dad, and that's just my personal nickname for God, because I believe he is the father of all, that all of that needs to come secondary to your very personal relationship with dad. That's just how it goes. It's a very intimate walk with God. This whole, spiritual journey and being reborn and getting baptized and, picking up your cross as Jesus instructed, I believe you pick it up. So that means you yourself will begin to carry a burden simply for following him. To even say that, to even announce to this world, I am a believer, I am a Christian. This is the God, the one that I follow. and that I give all of myself to. It is in the Bible. One of the hardest lines in the Bible, brother, is so there are many, if you are unfamiliar, there are many instructions in the Bible that help you and me live life. That's how I look. So, okay. This is mine. Can you see that? Can you see that right there? All right. That's the version I got. Okay. Been reading this bad boy. Well, I mean, technically the goodest boy for a few years now. Okay. It is thousands of pages long. Take your time, brother. Take your time. Okay. I I know people who they're not really a fan of reading it. It's just difficult for them. It's difficult for me, but I've been trying to keep up. Then again, as I just said, I've been at it for years. So take your time. But it's of the utmost importance to get one though. And I know nowadays with screens and phones and whatnot and virtual technology, ooh, yes, look, flashing lights on this little handheld. It's basically become the most recent addition to the human body. It is basically a limb now, to the point where it is attached to us all the time. But get a physical one. Get one that you can actually get your hands on, and you can feel the pages, and you can flip each page. Okay, put it in a nice safe place. That's my spot, where you can always have access to it whenever you need to continue your journey with God through His Word. It's not to say that without a Bible you are doomed. There is no way. But if there's a piece of literature that is single-handedly by itself the most supplementing manual for life itself, it has to be the Bible. And in it, there are all sorts of instructions, of pieces of guidance, of insight, and whatnot. And one of them is you, me, human beings in general, are to love Dad with all of our mind, with all of our heart, and with all of our soul. Basically, to me, that is all of you, and that is all of your being. You are to devote and dedicate into love, Father, with. That is not easy to do. I don't know about you, but I'm actually a pretty selfish person when it comes down to it. Just what's in it for me? And I never even knew this about myself until I kind of discovered it walking, okay, with God on my own personal journey to get as close to Him as possible, to get to know Him as well as possible. See, tonight is all about creating the best kind of meaning you could for your own life personally, so that you can wake up to it every single day and, brother, know without a sliver of doubt in your heart why you are here. You are here for more than just all the internet stimulation. Okay. There is life outside of a screen. I know, brother, I know how boomer that sounds. I'm not even that old. I swear. Okay. I am a millennial myself. So right now, currently, in terms of actual men, these are the three youngest generations to date. You have the millennials kind of leading the way a little bit, with my generation's fair share of problems, that's for sure. But then right under us, okay, not very far behind, are all the Zoomer kings. And then under them are the Alpha kings. Right? In terms of age-wise, in terms of the numbers, these are the most newly anointed biologically men. Okay? Have the betas finished puberty? I don't believe so. I don't think so. I think they're still children right now. So we leave them out of this. So millennial men, alpha men, Zoomer men. And if you are single, single is just living the solo life. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, brother, that's on you. If you think that there's something wrong with that, I'm here to tell you today one of the best ways to do something about that is to incorporate as much meaning as possible into your life. That begins with God. Why, though? Couldn't you find and cultivate true, genuine meaning all of your own volition? Just go around in this world and check stuff out, get curious, dive super deep into interests, hobbies, career pathways, businesses, and whatnot, business endeavors, the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, even as an internet content creator, I mean, technically, yes, of course, of course, you can do it for the sake of art itself, but it is expensive to be alive in the 21st century, with the bills and the rent and the insurance and gas and food, and the list goes on. That's kind of how the world is built today. You're going to need some cheddar. And so if you are strictly doing it for the sake of art, then I don't know, you must be in a very privileged position to do so, because that is to assume all those other staples of life, those basic necessities, are being taken care of. I doubt it, brother. I highly doubt that. I bet you need to take care of these basic necessities. So if you just do that, you're going to be hard pressed, bro, to find substantial and bountiful amounts of meaning to live for every single day. And I'm not even talking down to survival. Survival comes first. But surviving is not really the name of the game anymore for you and I, is it, bro? In order to further illustrate this, I'm going to speak for myself now. I think that would make this a little bit better. And so maybe I do come from a very privileged background. I grew up in the burbs, middle class. I have never dealt with starvation. I've never dealt with extreme poverty. I have never dealt with homelessness. I've never lived one winter in my entire life where heat was non-existent. It was like, yo, the only way I'm going to get through this is if I buy multiple jackets, and I'm just going to have to bundle up, or like straight up like make my own fire or something like that. No, it's just no. I have not lived in that way. Does that make me the majority or the minority? I don't know. I actually don't know. If you know, like the stats, I'm here to learn too. You drop that down in the comments below. If I were to take a guess right now, I'm probably in the minority. That's a tragic statement for me to say. The bright side is, now correct me if I'm wrong, no, really, that number is shifting towards the majority. And that's awesome. That's wonderful. That's just to say more and more, just your average Americans are elevating, their lives are being elevated to a standard of these staples are secure. Warm meals every day, running water, lights, a roof, a bed, just the staples of life. And this is what I mean. So now, how big is that number though? Is it tens of thousands? Is it hundreds of thousands? Is it millions? Have we not reached this point? Now, see, isn't that amazing, bro? You got millions and millions of men who are leading lives right now that are comfortable enough. They don't have to worry about, I don't know, wild animals coming to eat them, or, starving to death, freezing to death. Okay. Death by dehydration, that would definitely be another awful one. No, really, none of these. And so that really frees up a man's mind, time, you know, his psyche for anything. If you do not intentionally fill those spaces of your life that you do truly own, this is you on your own clock. When you're single and you're solo, you are not really obligated to anyone or anything else. It's just you and you. Many of us, because of the modern marvels of technological innovation, this, the screen, you know, PC, big screen, screens. That is beginning. We're entering an era where these devices of ours are living men's lives for them. It's getting very nihilistic and hedonistic at the same time. At the very same time, what a lethal combo that you and the rest of all these young kings have to fight, spiritually speaking, philosophically speaking, physically and virtual too, because you and I are born into a new standard of life where it isn't abnormal. It is not strange to stay home and just chill. And chilling's dope. You know, good old R&R, that's what I call it. I'm a little old school in this way. Rest and relaxation. Okay? Yeah, and I'm a big fan too of the games, of the anime, of the movies, and all that good stuff. But when that's all life is, you're gonna have a problem of meaning. Unless you are actually doing something with it, that's different. Unless you're actually kind of creating a career out of a certain creative field. But I know so many men who that's not the case. No, it's this C word, and it is consumption. It is just the absorption of the stimulus, of the content, of the material being ported through. Well, I mean, you pick your medium, website, okay, streaming service, whatever app, whatever platform. It's endless. It has become infinite. We have gotten to this point. There is enough content for you to consume and just, sit there, uh, you know, immobile, unmoving. Not a muscle, not a limb in your body needs to be active in any way. You just need to keep breathing. You just need to be conscious. And you can continue to consume. You can continue to just watch, be entertained, enjoy. Until a man realizes he can't find any semblance of joy in any kind of material anymore because that's all it's ever been across his entire life. So Q, meaning higher than himself. It does not get higher than that. You're not going to surpass God. Where? Where could you and I go where God is not, brother? There is no further extension past God. That's not possible because God is eternal in this way. Omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. He's here, right now, and he's everywhere else. He's all the way at the very end. And It's so crazy to try and fathom this. And the only way that it makes sense for me is because Father has no end. You and I do. Very finite, very, very mortal beings, you and I are. But Dad. So, what better benchmark would you try and pursue? Would you try and mimic and impersonate? If I could think of a better word than impersonate, and if you could just try and model yourself after, then the one who is as great as possible. And you do that by acknowledging how you have been wrong in this life. So that one is massive. I love how this is how it begins with God. I don't even know if this is biblical. I don't. I believe it is. I just can't say for sure because I'm just not that well versed in doctrine, in the actual Christian doctrines and scriptures, the documents of what it actually says according to God, Father's word. But I met him through it was repentance and it was confession that really activated my first, like real spiritual experience. Okay, something is going on here. I am not alone. I am definitely not alone. There is somebody right here trying to tell me something. What is happening? And that's gets into my testimony. It's a very long-winded story. I believe that deserves its own episode coming soon to a Pillars of Man podcast near you. But tonight, for you, that does mean, yes, to seek God, to find Him, is to first own up to whatever you have done wrong so far in this life. Now, you may believe it's possible. If you're younger, the more likely you will. You do believe. I haven't done anything wrong. I do no wrong. What? I'm stainless. I'm immaculate in this way. That's not possible. I don't believe it. I don't believe it is. If you truly are, then you may already, okay, be walking with God. I feel like any human being that's truly just like stainless in this way, that's just it's a magnetism. That is a natural attraction towards the most pure, positive, and benevolent force that across the universe. Okay, which is Dad. That is just that logical alignment right there. But for human beings like you and me, no. There absolutely is something. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a massive, like, oh my God, that's crazy you did that. It could be a small one, but I mean, it is something. And you find it. You find the worst one. You dig deep. And you think about, well, we're like, really, well, what is the worst of me? And you bring it. You take it up out of you. Okay. You summon it from however deeply buried it is in your heart and your soul, and you bring it up here. So you can translate it into words, and these words, you need to pour them out. You pour them out in the presence of God, bro. To me, that is repentance. That is signifying you have this very powerful urge to begin doing better than the previous version of you who thought that continuing to live a life where you had done that kind of wrong and you had been that evil is okay. Clearly to you, clearly to any human being living like that, it is okay because it's like, so what? What do I have to be sorry for? What do I need to own up to? Yeah, I did it. and I got away with it. And that's no one's business but my own. Now, when you follow God, you understand, okay, this is no longer just your business now. This is you and God's business. Because there is nothing that he does not see. There's nothing that he doesn't know. You can't. I've been there. I know. It's crazy. It's like, what do you mean? That's God, though. It's like, I tried to slip it past him. I was like hoping Dad did not see me in my own filth, stained all over the place. And just hoping that I could get into his good graces, that I'd check out, I could pass the test of verification. Oh, okay, I'm good, with all that garbage and all that junk that I was lugging around because of life. Past mistakes, grievances, wrongdoings, intentional, purely accidental. It's like, whatever. You take it, you give all of that to him so that you can be reborn, so that you can be purified. This is a new you. This is a new you because it is the birth of this new version of you who is acknowledging, up until you met God, before that moment, like that was you in the wrong. Whether you knew it, you did, whether you acknowledge it or not, while you were in the wrong. That is the past version of you now. A version of you that needs to pass away so that you can be renewed. And from that moment forward, you acknowledge, I really messed up here. I am to never do this again. I really don't want to do this again. And I really do want to do better. And in that desire to do better, there is no greater being to do that with than God. After that moment happens, you are most likely going to be introduced to all the virtues and all the teachings that you could possibly handle. Once again, by all means, brother, you gotta take your time. You gotta slow down, okay? And there's no rush. There's absolutely no rush here. It doesn't even matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. It's just for the simple fact that you do want to be better, okay? That meaning is going to be born from that. In your attempts, okay, however difficult, however uncomfortable. Now we're getting closer and closer and closer to the actual actionable steps that you're going to need to start enacting every single day. And this is what I mean by take it slow. And this is what I mean by you chunk it down. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. That is for sure. Okay? God is going to give you the perfect amount. He's going to give you exactly as much as you can bear. Okay? Before the point of truly breaking you. It didn't feel like that for me for most of my life. I have my own fair share of problems and, a rough upbringing, I guess you could say. And it all made me realize when I did meet him and finally found him, I needed all of that. Without it all, I'm not so sure I would have met God in the way I did when I did. Okay? And the more I try to trace it, and the more I try to go back and self-reflect on all of this, the more I see it was really just in time. Just in time. Before some truly catastrophic disasters. affecting both myself and most likely many, many, many others. God is great in this way. And when you get right with God, you really are going to be so, it really opens up you and your life. You understand you are not alone. You understand that you are loved. All right? You understand that there is somebody who genuinely cares. Really does care. Understands you. Is willing to listen all the time, 24/7. It's quite amazing. If you want to talk about access, okay, constant access to a being that genuinely cherishes you, finds you so precious and so worthy that he would welcome you with open arms as long as your heart is truly genuine to be in his arms. I always wondered, why does it work like that in my naivety? Or maybe rather, I should say, ignorance of just not knowing God well enough yet, but still having these questions plague my mind. And one of the biggest ones was, why not save me? Why not find me? Why not show up before all the disaster struck? Before I fell into the pitfalls of my own sin and my own evil again and again and again. Because it's the realization that if God did that, then it would not be you choosing God. It would be God choosing you. And if God chooses you, you don't have a choice. So that very easily translates to be God forcing himself upon people. Okay? That is the domination and control of a soul simply because he can. For whatever reason, that is not about that. For whatever reason. Okay, I find that fascinating. To me, this is very curious. Okay, because I was taught this one, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's just too much for one man to handle. You and I, brother, we are too flawed. Our egos, they are too susceptible to, I don't know, it's just like maniacal amounts of of evil. Okay, absolute power. Absolute power is, I can do anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if doesn't matter if everyone doesn't like it. You still have to do it because I have absolute power. That is horrifying. That is some pretty scary stuff. No lie. It's like, I know it's so tempting for you and I to kind of joke about, like, what if I was, king of the world? It'd be like this and this and this. Like, oh my, like this place would be so dope. I've always believed that. I've always believed that. I'm a really arrogant guy. Clearly, okay. Got a superiority complex and an ego issue myself. I got to deal with. Okay, that's one of the many problems that I'm trying to get better at with God, because of God. You want to talk about meaning. You want to talk about a reason to be and a reason to live. That's a fine one right there, brother. To simply try and evolve. I don't want to be this crappy. I want to be this mean. I want to be such a bully. I want to be such a freaking douchebag. walking around like that all the time. Now I want to be better than that, but to be better than that, I'm going to have to try at this continually on a daily basis. That's very hard to do by yourself. That's all. It's really hard to do by yourself. But there is wonderful amounts of meaning there. Oh, but if you would do it for dad, if you would do it for the one that you know is cheering you on, loves you so much, wants you to, because the better you do, the closer you get to God. The more humble you are, the kinder you are, the more honest you are, the more integrity that you have, the more courageous that you are, the more disciplined that you are. All of this, it is to get closer and closer to God. But back to that example though, because this one's so freaking crazy. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. In a human way, I truly believe it does. Of course it does. Like, I know, look, hey, see, check this out. See, for most of my life, until I recognize the truth of this like this philosophical bar right here. This one's heavy. This one's so heavy, bro. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And I would always think, okay, I was that guy. All of you in my corrupt, not me. Not me. I would make this place so fire. That's not a very good metaphor right there, but I used it. I'd make this place so fire. Okay? There'd be no homework. There'd be no wars, super hot, fine babes for you, me, all of our brothers. Money would not be an issue. Well, who needs money? In my world, everyone can have everything. You might you might already start to see some problems there, some plot holes in this movie where I am master of the planet. It just doesn't work. And I had a good friend of mine, and we got into this, and he was just like, "Hey, man, let me ask you something." Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I'm following you. No homework. Kids are gonna, okay, be like, oh my God, right? What a messiah. No wars. Most people are gonna be like, dope. We're not gonna stab each other to death. I mean, we're in the 21st century. We're not gonna pew each other to death. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? No nukes. That's dope. And then super, fine, beautiful women, one for each single man in this world. That one's tough, but I'm down for that too. And then my boy was like, so what's going to happen when even one person stands up to you, Kumo, and says, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good idea. And I was like, I guess, well, because I have absolute power, it doesn't matter. So what? So what if they don't agree? So what if they don't like it? What I say goes. Now I want to show you something. That's Dad. That is within his capability easily. This one really gets me. This one broke my heart. And it broke my heart because I was realizing, oh no. In that moment, I was realizing, hold on a second. This being of absolute love and power and whatnot it is like nothing to him. It is probably easier than lifting a finger. Like, that is not even an exaggeration. This is God we are talking about. That is absolute power. But then he doesn't find me, though. I find him, because that's your choice. That's my choice. That's everyone's choice. You see, bro? So it's only if I choose God. I don't have to. None of us have to. Why is that a thing when it doesn't have to be? It has to be love. It has to be love. I can't think of any other answer. If you can, you put that down in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what you think. It would have to be love for a being who can do whatever the frick he wants. And when it comes to his children, he'll stand there, he'll wait. He's so patient. He'll be right there, kind of in the background, chilling, vibing, watching, but never intruding. He never crossing that boundary. For one of his sons, for one of his daughters, hey, you have to. No. It's only if you let him in. It's only if you seek. It's only if you seek and you knock. Dad, where are you? And you earnestly look for him. I would highly recommend you do that with prayer and repentance. You get somewhere quiet. You talk to him. Okay? You say it however you want to say it. You say God, you say the Father, Yeshua, Yahweh, Adonai. Right? You can say, of course you can say Jesus, Jesus Christ. Okay? The anointed one, the Lamb, the Son of Man. And you speak to him and only to him. And you repent. And you say, my full name, I bring myself humbly before you, Father, and I am sorry for. And you give it all to him. Whatever's bothering you, brother. Whatever's plaguing you. Whatever's infecting you. Because you can't get rid of it. Because it haunts you day in and day out. You don't have to carry that alone. And so you give this to God. And from that moment forward, you do your best to stay as close as you possibly can to him. How do you do that? You try and uphold virtue, brother. You try and live in the way that he's going to instruct you to after you give yourself to him. Because that's what it is. Submission, acceptance, acquiescence. I am with you, I am yours, my king. I say that all the time. And that's not even like that. That's not even like good, a new slave. Father, God will answer you with, I am with you. I'm going to be with you because I love you. I'm going to take my time with you. We're going to do this together. No one had ever told me that in my entire life. Not like that. No one had ever taken the time to help me in the way that I was, in the mess that I was in. That kind of love right there, brother, You want to talk about meaning. You want to talk about why should I keep going? Why should I live? Why should I do this whole life thing? I don't even have anybody to do it with. It's really hard, is it not, brother? This is so tough, man. You clock in, you clock out, you go home, you have your screens. Okay? I know how much it hurts, bro. I do. Okay? You're looking everywhere for her and you can't find her. So you look for her here. And she's not even real on here. Okay, but you can't help it because on here she's nice. On here she's fine. She's so fine. She'll do whatever you want, right? You just gotta type it in and press enter. Okay? And you can play it back and you can slow it down. You can put it in slow motion. And you can full screen and you can put it in 4K and it's very clear. And she's stunning. But that's not what you really want, is it, bro? I don't think it is. I don't believe you. I think what you really want is a real woman, one who's actually down for you, one that you can actually physically hold every night. That wants to do this life thing with you. Okay? And that you two would get together, be together long enough that you would have kids. Okay? And then you could do the whole kids thing and you could raise human beings into upstanding people, better, infinitely better than you and your wife ever were. That's that kind of life, bro. How do you get there? How do you and I do that? How do we get to that point? And if that's what you really want, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. Okay, I'm not trying to be you know what I'm saying, super. Ooh, I'm an internet influencer and get really assumptuous right here. But I bet you do. I bet you do want stuff like that. I've wanted it my whole life. I've known since I was very young. I would love to see what this is like. Just kind of hold them, right? Right there. When they're newborn, isn't that about how big they are? And then right there, and you protect it, and you love it, you nurture it, and you teach it, you guide it, and it grows, it grows, it grows. Hopefully, ideally, taller, stronger, bigger than I ever was. I would want my son to be like that. I'm 5'7". If I ever had a boy one day, and he was 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", that'd be a dream come true. Oh my God. Okay? His potential for muscle is going to be infinitely better than and greater than mine. Good. Good, very good. So you will go much farther than me, son. Good. That's how God looks at you. That's how God looks at you, bro. And you might not believe me. You shouldn't. Shouldn't believe me or really any other man. You should believe your own experiences in your own earnest attempt, as true as possible, as true with all your might. You find that. However you can. I don't know, you might talk and talk and talk, and you might not get anything. That doesn't mean you stop. Don't stop. Don't stop, bro. You can't stop. Especially when it comes to the Father. Prove it. There was a lot in my beginning. There was really a lot. I'm spoiled though, I guess. I don't know. Because it was just so strong. Okay, my experience. And maybe I do have to drop that testimony soon. But it was such a powerful experience. So, I it's the clearest evidence conceivable with my senses, with my consciousness of reality, unfolding right in front of me. It had to have been God. I can't say it's going to happen like that for every single human being, but from that moment forward, though, it's not that his love is to be earned. You know, you already have it if you would find God. That's the thing. Like, you have a spot, you have a place in heaven with Father. Okay? That love is for you. You deserve it. It's waiting for you. But it's only if you want to have it. And then after that, I told you 2 layers. The first one took me a while. That's kind of dad for you. But the second one is all the meaning that follows afterward, is everything that you begin to do in that new life of yours, in this new version of you. And for me, I had to get, for me, my work was cut out for me. It still is, but I look at it a little bit different nowadays. When I was, younger, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, really first starting out with all this Christianity stuff for me personally. In the very beginning, I didn't even know it was Christianity. I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus like that. I thought I was like, oh my God, is this what they call, like, the guardian spirit? And I was like, oh, is this an ancestor, or like, is this like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a huge like fantasy action adventure lover. I was like, is this Wukong? Or is like something like that? No, it's God, straight up. And so I really got to moving. I got to understanding myself. I got to loving myself so much more when I finally met somebody who truly loved me. No, like truly. Like, because you're you. Because you're you. Not from what you can give God, what he gets out of it, what you could be, what you used to be. No, just you right now. Just like that. And I still remember when I first had that experience with God, I was like, no way. I can't be. Look at me. Like this? That's not possible. I'm repulsive. Not in the eyes of God. And I believe the only way that I'm able to try to attempt to understand this is because God really made you. I know. Our parents had to come together for that process to happen, but exactly how you would be, how you would grow to be, what would happen to you, all of it, everything. Okay, this is really getting down into the molecular, the cellular, the atomic level. All God. So that's why, like, he knows you perfectly. That's why you are his child. So, we are his children. And so I think that's what God has. He's really got that fatherly love towards us. That's my kid. That's my kid. That's my baby. And he or she is looking for me. Wandering. Crying out. Crying aloud. Where's Dad? I want to go home. So, seek. Search. Repent. Okay? And you will be introduced to all the meaning you could possibly want in your life. It was only after that did I begin to really piece it all together. Oh, I can enjoy eating healthier. I can enjoy like building my body to the strongest it can be, to the most aesthetically, visually speaking, it can be. Okay, I can try and chase things that are outside of myself. I can try and be for, I can try and be more for someone, not be more for myself. Okay, it gets so expansive. You go outwards, brother. You go outwards. You don't need to be. It doesn't need to be so inwardly for you anymore, because God is in you, working in you, through you, with you. It just does not get any better than that. I think this is why, like, true Christians, am I a true Christian in this way? No, brother. Unfortunately, today I'm looking at you as a very lukewarm man. I'm out of time. Look it up. Ask ChatGPT. Google it. What is a lukewarm Christian? That's my struggle today. That's my struggle today. But for true Christians, you look at them and it's just how. You don't even have much. Do you even have a computer? You know what I mean? This is like, I know. This is like, you I think I want to be a true Christian, but can I keep my PC, bro? You know what I'm saying? I'm playing Ember Knights right now on Steam. It's so good. Like, there's some things I can't, you know what I'm saying, let go of, and like, just like, I need this. This is my thing. This is my jam in life. But you'll see some true Christians where they just really don't have anything because they don't need anything. Because from the way that they live, it's like, I got a little bit of food, got some water, and I do stuff because I have God. It's up to you. It will always be up to you. It's just, I told you tonight would be very personal. I could not think of a better way to foster meaning for the rest of your life in this era. Okay? In this time period of such abundance, in a developed nation like the United States. I'm an American. I was born and raised here. You probably are too. In a developed nation, you know what I'm saying? Right down the street. What do you want? Fried chicken, pizza, okay? Chinese, like, what do you want? Okay. You go home, you put your feet up, okay? Drink. What do you want to drink? You drink what you drink, okay? You smoke what you smoke. You play what you want to play, and you watch what you want to watch. And it's like, I don't understand. So many of us, we're living like this and continue to die a little bit more inside. But then you meet Father. And Father puts that new life in you. And it's just, everything changes. Everything changes. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay. This is why Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one is to meet the Father except through him. It's within your best interest to sit down with him. Because I know that in my heart of hearts, he can't wait to do that with you. If you like content like this, come check me out here at the Pillars of Man podcast. That's kind of what I do. I talk a little about everything and anything that goes into God on nights like this, and anime coming soon. You know, a little bit of Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe. You're just gonna have to find out. Movies, love, and bodybuilding, all aimed at any man wishing to become his very best self. Hit that subscribe button for me, bro. You're on Spotify? Follow me on Spotify. Wherever you find this, shoot me a follow, because I'd love to see you on my very next one. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.